When you have built a career around a genre of rock and roll that was massive 20 years before you arrived on scene, you have to be dedicated to the cause, and the Darkness are just that. Speed bumps and code lumps aside, the lads from England made some of the best tunes this side of the century in a rather unique setting. That being said, they made it cool to like this music again, and for the first time in many years, of course. But don't let that shit stop you, because hey, we're here for a good time, not a long time. And before all was said and done, it seemed like, well, their time in the sun had just come and gone in a flash. And just like that, the band had split up after a failed release of their sophomore album amid infighting and cocaine habits, equaling to tens of thousands of dollars a week. Hi people, and hello my Chili Con Carnage crew, it's Chili here, the man who produces Iron My Eyes, and I'm doing a 5-minute review on the Darkness' newest album, Dreams on Toast. Sorry to leave you in suspense, but yes, the band did reform and have put out a few albums since then. This is the group's 8th record and is certainly one that contains a bit of change when compared to say the rest in their catalogue. I mean, the last point of reference that I had for them was Motor Heart, which I covered back in 2021? Have I been doing this gig for that long? Damn, time flies. Anyway, that was a fun hard rocking album that caught me by surprise, and I wasn't setting my hopes that high really before listening to it. Speaking of a good time, the opening track is called Rock and Roll Cowboy, and is talking about generic rockers doing the rock and roll lifestyle thing, but hey, let's be real here. This song is clearly talking about Lemmy from Motorhead with references about Marshall Stacks and Coke and Jack Daniels, ripped jeans and aviators, and of course how they're born to raise hell. Now considering that, I gotta say that this song feels a bit of a letdown and doesn't really go anywhere or doesn't do anything, to be honest. It just kind of exists without any real crescendo until the dying seconds, and even then it feels half-assed, and this is the opening song. I mean, you gotta have a bit of gusto, a bit of pace within your step. Anyway, the next piece, I Hate Myself, has the energy that you would expect for this slot and dives headfirst into that self-depreciation and loathing with those kind of lyrics. It's also the first song by the band to contain a brass section. Interesting choice, I gotta say. At first, I ironically hated this song, but now I hate myself for not coming around to it sooner. It's one of the better songs off this album, if I'm being real. Great rocking piece. The Longest Kiss was another single released for this album, and certainly is a jaunty and light tune that really did remind me of the Queen song Lazing on a Sunday Afternoon off their album A Night at the Opera. This certainly caught me off guard and subverted whatever expectations I had surrounding this album. If you are listening to the album in full and get to this point, then you can really tell that the band are out trying something new here. Yes, that's right, the Darkness is getting into a little bit of experimental territory here, and they are just fucking with my reality. As mentioned, it's been a few years since their last effort, Motor Heart, was released way back in 2021, and I'm pretty sure this was one of the first 5-minute reviews I ever did. Now, considering that the band has strong ties to Australia, then I gotta say that I have a soft spot for them. Plus, did I say that their music kicks ass? Well, their last album was pretty brilliant, but when I saw this new album's artwork, I had to ask myself, Justin, did you fall off the bandwagon? This cover art looks like a leftover from the Eurythmics photo shoot or some kind of colour version of the Scarface poster with the Wolf of Wall Street types on the cover. Also, what the fuck is with the name of the album? Dreams on Toast? What does that even mean? Well, I don't want to get caught up in that shit for too long because the Darkness have a long history of obscure jokes and references that I am most likely missing, and I can't be asked to Google. And as always, you shouldn't judge an album by its cover unless that album is Born Again by Black Sabbath. Well, I find it rather intriguing that the band are certainly trying something out here that's new and different, and to a various degree it does work on certain songs. However, it does fall short in other areas. Cold Hearted Woman and Hot on My Tail both sound ridiculous and feel like a no-frills country polka ditty, and Don't Need Sunshine feels very sappy and vastly different to I Hate Myself. But I guess that is on purpose after all. Because hey, this album is sort of conceptual with its lyrics and, you know, you'll see where it takes you. Now, while I wasn't too fussed about Don't Need Sunshine, I do have to say it is worth mentioning how it takes the album into another direction musically and does match the energy of that song. While I did not enjoy it, nor the album on my first playthrough, it has warmed up to me since, and it is a rather intriguing view into a band that appears to be at a crossroads. They are no longer the young chaps with a sense of invincibility to them. Instead, this album revolves around lyrics of self-loathing in areas, as well as facing one's mortality in some areas, and the mistakes they've made along the path. They are more travelled, arguably wiser, and showing this difference the way they know how to. through their music. This isn't going to be the Darkness album that you expect, but it is going to be the one that is probably talked about for many years to come. This record will leave fans sitting on the fence. One of the most obvious bits about this album is how they managed to tap into their inner Queen fans, and it's very clear on hand here. Much of the melody, as well as the acoustic approach and levels of experimentation, all point to that one band, and it's certainly an unexpected journey to experience. As to where you sit after listening to this album, well, that's entirely up to you. Overall, I'm going to give this album a score of 4.5 million chilies on the spicy scale, with my favourite tracks being I Hate Myself, The Battle of Gadgetland, and The Longest Kiss. Yeah, I was a bit let down after hearing this album, but it's not unsalvageable. There are certainly redeeming tracks on here, even though I feel like I don't enjoy a fair chunk of this record, and believe me, this pivot is going to be the catalyst for the change the band require moving forward. Anyway, I'll be interested to hear your thoughts, so comment below with your favourite tracks or opinion of the album. And as always, stay spicy out there. If you've enjoyed this content, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to us, and stay notified for future music related content, because it keeps our manager happy at the end of the day. We are also on Discord, Instagram, Facebook, and all those other social platforms if you want to check us out. As always, people, you have a great day and stay spicy.